everybody, I'm Jen with Allegory Gallery, and I'm going to show you another tutorial today. This one is kind of a old craft that's coming back. It comes back periodically and then goes away again, but it's always a timeless piece, and it's for young, it's for boho, it's for older if you want. The best thing about this is it's adjustable, and you can wear it long, you can wear it short, and it's fabulous. You're gonna love it. All right, without further ado, let's get started. This is our finished project. This right here was done with 15 stitches on each side, but you are more than welcome to make it longer or shorter depending on if you're making an adult or a child bracelet. And here's another fun thing you could do. If you wanted to man it up a bit, you could make this with either thicker nylon cord, or you can double up on the nylon cord. So after you do one run, do a second one over it, and it'll make that band much thicker. So it's more manly. Alrighty. So I have gone ahead and pre-cut our materials already. This is 84 inches of 0.8 millimeter nylon cord. It's nylon knotting cord, so you can melt it. Then I've got 34 inches of the cord here. This is going to be our inner cord, so it doesn't have to be as long, and this is our working cord. We also need four 4mm silver beads for this project, but you are welcome to use the 6/0s again if you want. You can use another bead just as long as it fits on the end here without slipping over a knot. We need 17 6/0 seed beads. I've used the Mayuki ones here. And then we have, let's see, what did I use? We've got 16 of the 20 gauge 6mm jump rings. So, and I have gone ahead and I've closed them already. You are welcome to make your own, or you can purchase them. I have, I've made mine, but just make sure that they're 6mm. You might get away with 5mm, but 6 is going to be your best bet. Alrighty. You'll also need a lighter, because we get to play with fire again. Jen lets us play with fire. You'll need a pair of scissors, and sometimes it makes it go quicker if you have a set of pliers, little needle nose pliers, so that you can grab onto the jump rings and add them quickly. And then I've just got a ruler here, but I've already measured, so you don't need to do that. Let's move our stuff off camera now. I am going to put my beads here in my ruler. You can use different color seed beads if you want. You don't have to use all one color. I do suggest, though, that you use at least 3 colors, because 2 colors, you're going to have like a straight line of like one color on one side, one color on the other. If you do 3 colors or 4 colors, you can stagger them and have a more interesting pattern. Alrighty, so let's take our first cord, the 34-inch cord, and we're going to fold it in half. I have already pre-melted my ends, so just to show you real quick on camera, you don't want to burn it. You just want to kiss it enough to make it melt enough that you can pull it into kind of like a needle shape. This will keep it from fraying, and it's a lot easier to load your beads onto it as you're going. Alrighty, so I am going to stick this on my macrame board. Oh, there's an important thing too. You don't have to have a macrame board, but let me tell you, this makes it so much easier. It holds on to your work, keeps it in place. You can slide it as you need to. So I'm just going to put a pin right there just to kind of secure it a little bit. And then you stick the other end down through there, and look how nice that holds it. Otherwise, what you're going to have to do is like tape it to the table, and then the tape lifts, or secure it to like a doorknob with something else, and that's just a mess. So trust me, for like $5 to $10, this little macrame board is a lifesaver. And I'm going to take one of my bracelets off because it keeps making noise. All right, there we go. No more noise. So now let's take our 84-inch piece here. Fold that in half. And I did not burn those ends, so you get to see that again. Just going to kiss it and pull it. Kiss and pull. You know, my fingers are severely calloused, so if you have delicate fingertips, have a little glass of water right here that you can wet your fingers first so you don't burn yourself. It's not quite as hot glue, but if you're sensitive, it will burn. Alrighty. So my ends are met. I'm going to take this looped end now, and the first thing we are going to do is a macrame square knot. If you've never done it before, don't worry. It's super easy. It's just 2 half knots put together. So I'm going to slip this underneath those 2 cores, maybe. Alrighty. So I am underneath the core at the halfway mark. So the first step is to take your left cord and go over the top of your core cords. There's the tongue twister. Your next step is to take the right cord and you will go under the core so your left goes over, your right goes under. Now your right is going to come up through your left loop, and your left loop is going to go down through your right loop. And you're going to pull that tight. So you see how that knot, get a little closer to the camera, you see how that first knot is on the right hand side? Our next one is going to end on the left hand side because we repeat that process in reverse, and that will complete 1 square knot. So now your right hand side goes over the cords, and your left hand goes under and up through that right hand side. That right hand side is going to go down through your left loop. So that was in reverse from the way we did it the first time. Tighten it up, get as close to that first knot as possible, and that is 1 full square knot. closer. Hopefully the camera focuses. All right. You always know which side you left off on because that knot will be on whatever side you did the last knot on. Alrighty, we are going to do 20 repetitions for this bracelet. So now my left is going over, my right goes under and up, the left goes, I'm sorry, did I do that right? I did. Okay, so the left goes over and up. The right went under and up. Tighten it up. Sometimes this nylon cord twists. Okay, let's do this again. Left over, right under, and up, left, down. Tighten it up. My knot is on the right hand side. That's how I know that's where I left off. In reverse, right over, left under and up, right goes down through the left. Tighten it up. There's 2 square knots. My knot is on the left, so that's how I know I finished. Let's move a little faster now. Left over, right under, and up. Left down. There's half of my third knot. Left over, right under, left down, right up. And sometimes things loosen up a little bit, so just pull that back through your macrame board. There you go. All right, right over, left under, right down through the left, left up through the right. Left over, right under, left down, right up. Reverse, right over, left under, and up, right down. Left over, right under and up, left down through the right. Okay. I'll show you guys one more time slowly, and then I will finish the rest off camera. because I think you probably got it by now. So right over, left under, and up, right, down, through the left. Tighten it up. And there you go. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 square knots. All right, 6 out of 20. We're gonna do the other 14 stitches and then I'll see you back. All righty, we have gotten the square knots done on the first half of the bracelet. So there's 20 square knots, and we're gonna do 20 square knots on the bottom after we do this fun beading part. Now for this part, it is also helpful if you have a couple of extra T-pins, or you can use regular sewing pins. But this just kind of helps you keep the cords separate from one another as you're going. So, step 1 of the beads. We're going to take our seed bead and we are going to drop it down the left hand cords. So you see how I separated the 2 on the left, 2 on the right? I'm going to grab the end of both of my cords. I'm going to feed that 6/0 down through there. And I'm going to work that bead up to my square knots. Now I'm going to bring all the cords together. It's always easiest to load onto the longer cords first, by the way. So I have the 2 side long cords. I'm going to drop a jump ring down those 2, and then take my 2 center cords and go up through that jump ring as well. Take the extra slack out of my long cords. Separate those 2 again around my T-pins. So that first bead went down on the left 2 cords. Then I dropped a jump ring down all 4 cords. Now I'm going to jump or drop another 6/0 bead down the 2 right cords. And I'm going to pull my work all over the place. Okay. Bringing all those cords back together. Going to drop the jump ring down all 4 cords again. If I can grab a jump ring. Alrighty. I should probably just use my fingers because I'm used to using my fingers. Okay. Take up the slack. Bring those 2 center cords down through that jump ring. So that jump ring is down all 4 cords. Separate my strands again. And the other thing you can do is once you get those square knots done, you can stick a pin down through it. I like T-pins better because they don't poke you back. All right, so for the sake of argument, there, that holds it a little bit more secure. Alrighty, we're going to repeat on the left-hand side. So do you notice a pattern going on? Left, ring, right, ring. Just make sure that you drop it down the 2 chords and then all 4. Okay, so we're going to repeat that another, let's see, we've got 17 6/0 beads. So we start on a bead and we end on a bead. I'm going to show you a couple more on camera so you can see the pattern developing, and then we'll work the rest off camera because it's just repetition. Okay. If my hand's in the way, I'm sorry, y'all. Okay. That jump rings down all 4. Gonna drop that bead down my right 2. If it's easier for you, just slide that bead down the longer cord and then bring the shorter cord through it. Alrighty, I'll show you one more bead addition on the left, then I'll work the rest off camera and meet you for the last square knots. Alrighty, you see that beautiful little pattern starting? raise it up just a little bit. Hopefully that's in focus. And don't worry about the open part of the jump ring right now. After you're finished, if you need to turn some of them around so that the opening is on the back, that's just fine. It's easy to just take a needle nose plier and turn those. But you do want to make sure that your jump rings are closed, because otherwise, eventually they're going to find their way off of your cord. They're going to slip right out of that macrame cord, and then you'll be missing a jump ring. Alrighty, I will meet you back on camera after I have finished doing all of the zipper part of this bracelet. Okay, everybody, let's put the last bead on the left hand outer 2 cords. There we go. Bring all of those cords up together and kind of smush your beads up. Get out all of the spaces so it's nice and tight. Okay. Take your 2 longer cords and separate those again. Take your 2 core cords, stick those back down through. And we are going to repeat our square knots again. So I will show you one more time, slowly, left over the core cords, right, under, and up. And then grab that left cord and bring it down through. I kind of doubled up that step there. Okay, get that first square part of the square knot up as close to those beads as possible. Okay. Give it a good squeeze. I do kind of significantly put a lot of tension on my cords when I'm pulling them tight. I don't want to overdo it, but if you make your knots too loose, it's going to be unattractive, and you want your knots to be uniform. Okay, that might take a little bit of practice. I have been doing macrame for well over 30 years. I'm not going to tell you how old I am, but let's just say it's over 30 years. Okay, so right over top the core cords, your left under and up through that right loop. This left cord is going down. Tighten it up. There is our first square knot, our first full square knot. Okay, picking up the pace, left over, right under, left down through that right, right up through the left. And do we remember how to tell which side we left off on? Say I walked away from my project to take a break. That square knot is going to be on whatever side you left off on. And you're going to see this loop coming up and hanging out, pointing up into outer space. Okay. So there is 6 square knots on this side. I'm going to work the rest off camera, and I'll meet you back here when we're ready to finish our zipper. Okay, we are on our last 2 stitches. So left, over, right, under and up, left went down, right, over, left, under and up, pull it tight, so there's 19, I think. Let's double check. And 20. Left over, right, under and up, tighten. Right over, left, under, and up. And tighten. That is 20. Just kind of tighten them all up a little bit. Okay. And I'll show it to you up close off the board. Look at that. Very pretty. All right, so let's take a brief moment to run down where I got my measurements from. So my wrist is about a 7.5, and this is an adjustable bracelet. So this is 15 stitches, and it just comes to the edge of my wrist. I don't really want to see it, so I wanted it to curl underneath my wrist a little bit more. It has a sliding adjustable stitch on it that is nothing more than square knots again. But you see how big it gets? It's able to go over my hand very easily. I don't exactly have big hands, but alrighty, so that should basically be about, that is almost 5 inches, so that's about 4 3/4 inch long. You can go longer if you want. You can do, if you have big wrists, you could probably get away with 25 to 30 stitches on each side, but then you're running into play. You're gonna have to play with it, because with 5 extra stitches there for your slip knot, you might end up being too long. So for a 7.5 inch wrist, I think you're gonna be safe with about 20 to 24 stitches on both sides. And when you start off, you do want to have, I forgot to tell you this, you do want to have at least 5 inches on either end of your core cords. So that's just about 5, it's 5 inches on one side and we're 6 inches on the other side. It doesn't have to be dead center, but you do want at least that 5 inches on each end. Okay. So hopefully that made a little bit of sense. When we curve that around, see, that is going around my wrist completely, and I'm happy with that. I just didn't like to see so much of the bare cord on my wrist. So if you're doing it for a smaller wrist, like 6 inches or kid's wrist, then definitely I would start at 15 and work your way up. And again, just if you want to thicken it up, use a 1mm cord, use 2mm cord. This is 8mm or 0.8mm. So if you're looking to do it for a man, go with a thicker cord, or you can double back and do over both sides again, and that's going to create a fatter band. Alrighty, we are going to snip these 2 outer cords off now. The 2 longer cords, we're going to snip those off. We're only going to need to leave probably about maybe a 1/4 inch tail on each side. Don't throw your sides away. You will need to use one of them. All right, now we get to play with fire again. All right, turning it so that you're only burning the one end. Keep your fingers out of the way. Just kiss it until it starts melting. Just hit it up repeatedly until it works its way down to your bracelet. And then you see how I used my finger while it was still hot to tap it against the bracelet? Again, wet your finger first if you have sensitive fingers, but my fingertips are pretty calloused over. All right. And you just want to make sure that that blends in. Keep your cords out of the way. Okay. And repeat. It will smoke a little bit. Don't breathe it in. It's nylon. Who knows what chemicals are in there. Okay, so then you're left with this. Isn't that pretty? We're not done. We are going to take end to end, bring it around. So these open ends are pointing down. These open ends are coming around the opposite side. This is where we do our slip knot, which can be a little tedious at first. But don't worry, you'll get it. Alrighty, so taking one of those long cords that you snipped off, fold that in half, go underneath those cords that will become your ends, and we're doing that square knot again. So I'm holding that with my right hand, bringing that left side over, bringing the right side under and up through the left. That left side is going down through the right side. Do not let go yet. Just work those tight. The first stitch is the hardest part. Just tighten that up. Don't tighten it so much that you won't be able to slide those cords. But with wear, that is going to loosen up a bit, so you do want it a little tight. Finding that right tension could be a little tricky at first, but practice, practice, practice. All right, so there's our first knot. You can tell where we left off because that knot is on the right-hand side. So let's finish our square knot. We're going with the right-hand cord, we're going over all 4 of those cords. With the left-hand side, we are going under and up through that right side. and we are tightening. Okay. As I tighten, you can see I kind of grab that knot and make sure that it stays on the side. So that first square knot is going to set the stage for the rest of them. The rest of them will be super easy. If you want, you can stick that T-pin through both sides of your bracelet again. It's kind of to secure that on the board. And then you don't have to worry about holding the whole bracelet. So left over, right under, and up through. Tighten. Right over, left under and up through. Tighten. That's 2. I like to do at least 5 square knots. Left over, right under, there's 3, 4, 1 more makes 5. Okay, that completes your slip knot. This fabulous little knot that will allow your bracelet to be adjustable. See, itty bitty baby bracelet. Bigger, 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 bigger. All right, now we're going to cut these 2 side cords on the slip knot again, leaving about 1/4 of an inch. This becomes your glue. We get to play with fire again. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing. Keep all your cords and your fingers out of the way. Kiss it. Tap it. Kiss it again. Tap it again. Just make sure that goes all the way up against that knot. Okay, holding everything. Repeat on the other side. Kiss it. Tap it. Kiss it again. Okay. Now it's up to you how long you want your side cords to dangle off your arm. I don't really like mine too long, but you do want to make sure that your bracelet is going to be big enough to slip over your hand before tightening. So that's about a good length. And then keep in mind that this is going to become part of the slack. So at some point it might become too much and you might want to cut it again. I think we're going to be safe to say that if you give yourself, I don't know, what is that? That's about 2 inches right there. Give yourself 2 inches. Snip those excess cords. Use your scissors. it works faster. Okay, so that's what it looks like now. Last step. You're going to put one of these on each of the ends. You're going to tie an overhand knot. Depending on the size of the hole in the bead you use, you might want to tie a double knot, but generally one little knot is going to be enough for you. We're going to snip that and we're going to burn it. So load up all your cords. Overhand knot. Overhand knot. You could have all your cord ends the same length if you want, or you can make them different lengths. So you've got 4 different lengths or 2 different lengths. I like mine all equal though, as I'm sure most of you probably do. Alrighty. So that's what that looks like. Now we're going to snip all of these ends and burn. I don't know, maybe that's not even a 1/4 inch. Maybe that's only a 1/16. I wear glasses. Okay. Burning that knot. Kiss it, kiss it, kiss it, tap it. See if I can go closer. Kiss it, kiss it, kiss it, tap it. Kiss it, and tap it. So you want that knot to just, let's see if I can get it to show better. You want that knot to just look like it's a knot with a little glue on it. And that bead's not going off of it. So we're going to do that again. This is how our knot started. Kiss it, kiss it, kiss it, tap it. If it catches on fire, you weren't fast enough. Okay, and that's what we look like now. So to make it smaller, I'm going to pull these beads to the opposite side and pull. Oh, hey, look what fell off. So you might need to. No problem, we'll just do it again. The holes on my silver beads are pretty significantly large. So let's do 2 overhand knots on this one. There's a nice big knot. So this will loosen up with time. Don't worry. It'll be easier to pull it. You just don't want it to be too loose, or else that bracelet's going to open while you're wearing it, and nobody likes that, adjusting your bracelet all day long. Right, so I just played with it a little bit. Slip it on. Everyone likes adjustable bracelets because you can put them on all by yourself, right? So that's just a squinch too long for my style, but if you like it blingy and you're not working, then that'll be perfect. All right. See? A nice, quick little boho bracelet. Teens love these. They're good sellers at fairs if you're just doing something quick. Just a quick rent payer, as we like to call them. All right, there it is. Hey y'all, I hope you had fun watching, and I hope I went slow enough that y'all could follow along. If you have any questions, just message us and we'll answer your questions. I would love to see what y'all come up with, so feel free to post pictures on our websites, either Allegory Gallery, Design Challenges, or on JNT Creations. Alrighty, y'all, happy crafting!